We are live on Tekkel Chat. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks so
Yo,
much
yo,
for joining
yo.
us tonight. Spectacular show tonight. Obviously, we had some bad news during the week about all the coronavirus cases in the local Super Rugby unlocked. And therefore, obviously, the big focus tonight, Alberic, would be that big victory. Um, the Aussies beating the All Blacks. Het voelt lekker. Hoe gaan het daar in die Kaap?
How's it, Danny? Yeah, look, I think that kind of trumped, a lot of the rugby that was played over the weekend. In the sense that it was history that was made, but we'll get to that a bit later. But yeah, fantastic weekend of rugby again. Also marred by cancelled games and possible games being cancelled this weekend as well. So yeah, one of those things. I was looking forward to the clash between the Sharks and the Stormers. I think the Stormers were looking good at this point so far.
Yeah, tongue in the cheek there by Alberic. But obviously, guys, we had that question on our Facebook page earlier. Alberic obviously saying that the Sharks dodged the bullet. The game is cancelled, so obviously the Stormers can't beat the Sharks. But the Stormers being the Stormers being that hot and cold team, they really surprised me this weekend. They actually blew the Cheetahs away, and we will have a look at some of those results. But Alberic, Super Rugby Unlocked, full of surprises. The Cheetahs came to Cape Town. I was pretty excited to see the Cheetahs have a go at the Stormers, but they were actually never in the game.
No, exactly. I mean, we can look at the results over the past weekend. The Stormers actually played a fantastic game, against the Cheetahs. Again, this weekend was one of those weekends where we wanted to see our players, stand out. And we're looking specifically at the guys like Damon Willemse, the players that would, take that berth into the Springbok setup, come next year. And he definitely, he played one of his best games ever. His passing was crisp, his kicking was good. That fantastic pass that he took, breaking into the line, and then in the tackle, that offload was simply phenomenal. So yeah, but it was great to see those players standing up and being accounted for. Heartbreak for the Griquas in Kimberley. Sharks, pulling that one out of the hat. But yeah, again, the Sharks played fantastic rugby.
Yeah, I think in that game, both teams they really defended poorly. I think they slipped a lot of tackles, just letting the opposition go through. And then obviously at the end, I thought the Griquas had it, but then Kerwin Bosch stepped up to the plate to obviously seal the deal for the Sharks. I can see there's a lot of Stormer supporters back. They were slightly quiet last week. I can see on the Twitter feed and also the Facebook feed. They are here. They are back. We see all your comments. But Alberic, just let us just have a sneak peek at the results. Obviously, we know that one of the games obviously didn't take place, but like you said, you probably picked the Stormers for a win against the Cheetahs. There, I thought the Cheetahs was going to win.
Yeah, no, exactly, and like we mentioned earlier, the Stormers did pitch up on the day, and it's you almost feel like it's one of those, the parts of the season where the Stormers are kind of peaking, and they woke up pretty late in the tournament, after that massive loss against the Bulls. But they definitely, brought, with the talent that they do have in their ranks, they've definitely brought the goods on the day. And yeah, it's a pity. Like we said, we don't know about this weekend's games, upcoming games the weekend. It's been announced that the Sharks Stormers game will be cancelled. It's to be confirmed. Yeah. We're not sure if it's going to be postponed. And we can have a look at the fixtures for this coming weekend, which was
it should have
announced earlier. Which should have been actually. The Bulls Pumas game will still be played, and then that will be moved to a later time. And then the Cheetahs Griquas game will still happen, as far as we know. So yeah, it's a pity that the end this weekend will end up in a kind of anti-climax. The Bulls, put to take it. If we look at the log right now, we'll see that the Bulls are leading by 2 points, and it's a pity that the Stormers and the Sharks won't be able to have a go at it and see what they can actually accomplish. Although you would definitely see the Bulls, popping the Pumas by quite a bit. With the current form they have, and then also maybe possibly picking up a bonus point, which will take will be a bridge too far for the Stormers or the Sharks, no matter who would have won that game.
Won the game, yeah. Yeah, but looking at all these, I would say the variables that came into play in the Super Rugby Unlocked. Do you believe that the Bulls should be crowned worthy winners? I have my opinion about it, but obviously now you have the Cheetah saying we played a game less, the Lions similar. Um, yeah, the Bulls obviously being crowned champions, but there's a lot of controversy about it.
No, for sure. And if you look at the amount of losses and wins, I mean, you can see that the difference is the bonus points that the Bulls have made, and that was in critical games, obviously. They picked up those points, whereas in the beginning of the season we looked at the Sharks and the Sharks' dismal performance in the first game or two, and we looked at them not maybe possibly being a contender. But when you look at towards the end of the tournament, you can clearly see that those three teams are clearly above the other teams. Yeah. Considering the fact that the Lions also didn't have a chance to have a proper go because one or two of the games have been cancelled as well. So yeah, it's a pity it's how it ends up. But I mean, if you look at towards the end of this tournament, you definitely could see the Bulls picking up some momentum.
Yeah, definitely.
Going towards the end of it.
Yeah, no. There you have it, guys. It looks certain that the Bulls will obviously be crowned Super Rugby Unlocked champions, and like Alberic said, they're really been the form side. Great, great to see guys like Stedman Gans, Kurt Lee coming through the ranks, youngsters. Obviously, that they really look good, and then also good to see Dwayne Vermeulen just coming through the series. I would say uninjured. We know there's a lot of kilometers on that clock there, so there's a lot of positives. Morne Steyn also coming through the ranks. Good to see Cornel Hendricks playing at inside center, another prospect. So a lot of positives in the Bulls camp. And I would say if you look at form, certainly those guys were the winners. But I would have loved to see all the teams playing all the amount of games, and then obviously come to a conclusion that we have a proper competition. But in this case, obviously it would be debatable, Alberic.
No, exactly. It just brings the Currie Cup to the fore in so much ways. I think the Currie Cup will count for so much more. Now you're gonna have opportunity to play home and away, and then we'll definitely see who can come, because then it's a more of a marathon. This Unlocked just felt like a sprint. Everybody just getting the 6-7 games or 7 rounds behind the belt, with no playoff round. So the Currie Cup is definitely going to have a lot of more input. It's going to be a lot very important to a lot of teams, but towards the end of the year.
No, for sure. Over to serious matters. Ek sien mense in Mosselbaai. Ek sê vir julle goeienaand. Almal daar in Mosselbaai. Ek baie vir julle. We will show your comment now. The serious talking point, Alberic. Rugby championships. Hey, listen. I need to eat humble pie. There's a lot of guys, Cohen, they all need to eat humble pie. On the show last week, I said there's no chance that Argentina would beat the New Zealand All Blacks coming from was it a 6-month layoff?
Yeah.
I need to eat humble pie. The Argentines came out, and that is our big talking point tonight. We have some experts, some fans that we will show on screen. The Aussies creates history, and for the very first time, they beat New Zealand in a test match. They didn't beat them. They beat them convincingly. They cleaned them out. They scrummed them away. They properly ran riot against the All Blacks. I can't recall an All Black side as helpless as what I saw them on Saturday. Even against the English, even against the Springboks when they lost, they were out of the game long before the end of the game. Yeah. It was good to see as a Springbok supporter. It should be worrisome for some All Black fans.
No, exactly. En ek gaan base it, but jy kan maar 'n stukkie sny van humble pie vir my ook. And I think a lot of people will be eating some of that humble pie, when nobody would have guessed With all respect to the RGs, and their pre-preparation for this tournament, that they would have been able to beat the All Blacks. But yeah, I mean, hats off to them. They played a phenomenal game. They were strong. They were, in a lot of ways, we don't want to, take too much away from the performance, but a lot of ways you would almost see them take some of out of the hat of the English defense, took some of that out of the Springboks hat, at least. The way they defended and the way they just attacked the breakdowns, they were phenomenal. I mean, Pablo Montero was I mean, we've mentioned him for the last few years as being a great player, but he really stood out. A really captain's performance, of note. And then you and we'll talk about it a bit later. You compare him to the captain on the other side, and he's taking some flack as well, and we'll get to that in a second. But what a performance! What a great. If they're going to replicate that again towards the end of the season, I don't know. The All Blacks have a knack of just coming back and giving you, that glutinous. You give them a tip ankle tackle towards the try line, they'll just give you a good solid shot. Yeah. So that's just one of those things, and let's see if they can do it towards the end.
We analyzed some of the aspects of that game, and obviously our time is way too short to show you that. But I think, Beric, what we saw when we analyzed the game was that we all know the RGs, and they ran the Aussies close in the rugby championships. They were always in it against the Springboks. They were always playing well in the initial stages of matches against the All Blacks. They just couldn't put 80 minutes of rugby together. Now, in our analysis we saw for this game, what was the difference? They came out from the start to finish, and they put on 80 minutes of rugby. They cleaned out the All Blacks when it mattered. They absolutely shut down Richie Mo'unga. They tackled the All Blacks. Shannon Frizzell was hit hard in Channel 1. He was actually perplexed in Channel 1, hitting those runners. Whitelock couldn't get over the gain line. All of a sudden, you have Aaron Smith struggling to get the ball to Mo'unga. And now Goodhue is looking very, very, very ordinary against or next to Anton Leonard-Brown. All of a sudden, the ball on the back foot for Caleb Clark. It just looked very, very unpracticed from the All Blacks, but it was a very, very good execution of a proper physical plan from the Argentines. And we're going to, maybe in future, if there's coaches out there who wants to win games, beating the opposition with a physical game plan, you need to watch this game over and over and over again. Because the All Blacks were beaten. I think they came in the 70th minute. They scored a try consolation. Consolation. But I tell kaart het hele gelijk. But it was
exactly.
Hats off to the Argentines. With all respect to the All Blacks, a lot of the All Black supporters saying, maar speel swak, was the nieuwe kaptein, is the nieuwe coach. Well, the Argentines came out to play. We need to say, guys, well done.
No, exactly. It was just, again, we mentioned phenomenal, and it was phenomenal. I think you need to have more than just 80 minutes of rugby in you to beat the All Blacks, and that's what they did. That and much more. And it looked like towards the end they were just gaining momentum. With the penalties towards the end, it just looked like they were just looking at the better team and finishing it off like in style. But yeah, hats off to the RGs. It's it's one of those games where nobody would have guessed them beating, and especially looking at besides the All Black history, the fact that the All Blacks have been this force over the last 10-12 years. They've really, even with this transition phase that they're in currently, we would have still put them to beat the RGs easily. But yeah, hats off to the RGs. They were brilliant. It was just fantastic on that day.
Absolutely. Guys, we asked the question earlier on our Facebook page, and obviously we've got the Heine Wenzel saying the Argentinians won, playing very strong, great defense, great bowling, and I think he's touching on what we've mentioned now, 80 minutes of proper rugby. They played the All Blacks at a game that the All Blacks at times feel very uncomfortable in. If you make it very physical, Berg, jy kan een scrum onthou wat die All Blacks scrum laat jy sien hulle hulle stitte het uitgepop soos 'n prop uit 'n champagnebottel uit hè. And that is where the Boks actually, when the Boks played well physically, they were in the game always. The All Blacks, you're not gonna beat the All Blacks at the running game. William
No,
again,
for sure.
Everyone tried to beat the All Blacks at their own game. They were outmuscled at the breakdown. Well done to the Pumas. And again, he's touching on what we are saying. So earlier today, we asked the fans, and I'm delighted to see some of the All Black fans come out, because daar was van die manne wat gesê het, ek lek nog my wonde, is te seer, ek gaan nie praat nie, ek is skuur vir die media, ek gaan eers môre uit 'n gat uitkom. We asked them, are we seeing the demise of the All Blacks? Are the All Blacks are we seeing the empire crumble? Or should we say, ek is nie ge-worry nie, ek is 'n All Black fan, ek is nie ge-worry nie, the All Blacks will bounce back. So we had a few guys coming onto our show, and we want to welcome them and thank them. Let's just have a look at some of the comments, and then we will have a brief chat. I want the guys on Facebook to also just join us on this one, because there's a few good points, and then obviously there's a few tongue in the cheek as well.
Hi almal, ek is Keith Breintjies, All Blacks ondersteuner al vir die afgelope paar jaar. Eerstens, baie geluk manne met 'n goeie show, en hou voort met die goeie werk. Ja, die All Blacks, waar begin man? Yokohama, semifinaal World Cup, Engeland, 19-7 gewees. Ek dink daar, ons het begin sag raak as All Blacks, defense en op attack, en ek dink Argentinië het hy ook nou uitgebyt, afgelope Saterdag. Ons kaptein is ook 'n bietjie nou en ons back, hoe sê hulle, die agterdriehoek het spoed. Ja, hulle het spoed, maar op defense is hulle bietjie kort, so vorige spanne, All Black spanne het ietsie van alles gehad, defense, attack, vlei alles gehad, maar ek dink ons defense moet so 'n bietjie opknap, en soos ek van Engeland ook gesien het, hulle het baie nader aan mekaar gedefense, soos hulle op defense is hulle baie nader aan mekaar gespeel, wat turnovers baie makliker gemaak het. En ek dink Argentinië het dit ook agtergekom, so, maar die All Blacks sal weer daar uitkom. Moenie worry nie, hulle sal weer daar uitkom waar hulle was, maar ja, vir nou moet ons seker maar is die bullet bite, soos hulle sê.
Ja, it's a kritiek. Kyk, toe die man begin, toe krap hy sy kop. Ja, waar begin ons man? So that says a lot. That says a lot. I mean, the emotions the guys are going through right now. It's baffling. I mean, even as a Springbok supporter, like, huh? Wie verloor? I mean, it's that kind of scenario. So yeah, thanks Keith for that comment.
And I just want to touch on something that Keith mentioned now, and it's an important point. He went back to the England game in the World Cup, and it's a valid point. It's a valid point, because rugby is all about momentum. It's all about having that confidence. They lost against England. They didn't make the World Cup final. Now, all of a sudden, everybody is sitting upright and saying, oh, wow, we've got the Springbok England final. Where's the All Blacks? Now, obviously, a lot of people would say, but, it's a slip up. They'll be back. But mentally, all of a sudden, you have the Springboks winning the World Cup. Boom, they're number 1 on the IRB rankings. You slip down one.
As 'n skok.
Luister, jy kan nie eerste wees, as jy eerste is, dan kan jy mos nie catch-up speel. Jy moet tweede of derde wees om catch-up te speel. Mentally, all of a sudden, boom, you have a new captain. Kieran Reid retires. Hansen says, I had enough. Boom, you have a new coach. New coach all of a sudden needs to play catch-up. They need to catch up with Rassie Erasmus 6-2 split. They need to catch up with Rassie Erasmus, little winger on the outside, who's the best rugby player in the world. All of a sudden, you need to catch up with Rassie Erasmus, who's got Siya Kolisi as the captain. Now you have this new Springbok team, and you need to catch up. Do you have the patience to say to an All Black supporter fraternity, say, give us tyd. We're busy building. Do they have the time? Because the All Black and their supporters, they are impatient. They want to be at the top for as long as possible, and they want to get to the top as quickly as possible. Het Sam Cane en sy troepe die tyd om te sê, kom ons bou gou eers, wees 'n bietjie geduldig met ons.
Ja, nee, kyk, jy kan nou indink wat so pressure hy man nou op is. I mean, they just as a rugby mad country as we are, and the fact that they were number one, they're not used to losing. Die manne is nie gewoond aan verloor nie en sleg verloor. They were used to, if you look at some of the comments on the New Zealand side, a lot of them were saying that talk to the RGs, and that just shows the kind of respect that the New Zealand fans had to the Argentinians. But then you take it a day later, and you have these writers, Chris Latitude, and all these guys putting up some comments saying some heavy comments where kind of to turn the audience around, and people were upset. Besides for him, but just the fact they were asking questions. And that's what's happening. And one loss created that turmoil, or in fact, two losses in a row created that turmoil. If you look at what the Boks went through over the last, pre-Rassie, ons is gewond geraak en verloor en sleg verloor. We mentioned the Italy's, the Argentinians, obviously, losing against them here at home. It's bad losses, man. We went through a bad patch. But then you take it back to the 2009 period when the Boks were on top of the world, beat the British Irish Lions. We won the Tri-Nations, Tri-Nations at that point. And we were looking phenomenal. We beat the All Blacks twice that year. And that was like a watershed moment for the All Blacks where they decided, hey, guys, we can't have this. We have to turn this around. And, this could be their moment. To your point, are the All Blacks patient enough with that inexperienced team to turn it around and make sure that they can, back then that Richie McCaw, Dan Carter, these guys that knew, going through patches. Do they have that now? I don't know. And that is definitely showing through the fans.
Let's hear what another All Black supporter has to say. A good insight here, and maybe it touches on some of the points that we've just mentioned.
Hi guys. Honestly, I don't see a demise of All Black rugby. It's more of other countries that caught up with the All Blacks or with New Zealand rugby. That gap of New Zealand being far ahead of other countries are no longer there. And the reason for that is not that the All Blacks were performing poorly. It's more of other countries found ways of breaking down the All Blacks or putting them under pressure. We've seen it against England in the World Cup last year in the semi-finals. We've seen it against Australia this year in the championship. We've also seen it against Argentina recently. But it's not something to worry about. Like Wayne Smith said, for you to create success, you need to go through a tough time. And I think it's necessary for the All Blacks to go through this tough time in order for them to build onto something to have success in the future again.
Very good, very good point.
Good points.
Is it the demise? It's two losses, man. There's we've seen worse seasons for other teams, and it's you can definitely see the English, the South Africans, the RGs, people, these countries have caught up. You can definitely see it, the style of play, especially we could see it in the World Cup last year. These countries definitely have pitched up and caught up with the All Blacks, and also figured out the game plan. That kind of flat attack that they have. The Boks have brought it in even pre-World Cup. Blocking the ball being spread out wide and making sure they can cut those passes. They've definitely been figured out over the last while. So very good point.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, it's a valid point by Eugene. So if there's some of the All Black coaches watching now, all the way from New Zealand, I'm not going to charge you for this tip. I'm going to give you a few tips now. Your best fly-off in Bowden Barrett, two-time IRB Rugby Player of the Year is playing at fullback.
Yeah.
You play Richie Mo'unga. He's a decent substitute. He plays at fly-off. Your two centers that you play in Goodhue and Anton Leonard Brown are both 13 centers. That is why they're not creating the space that Sunnybell Williams, Ma'an Nono, and Ryan Crotty has created at the inside center. They totally lost. So they're playing two 13s at 12. You're playing Jordie Barrett at wing. He can if he has the ball, obviously create something and kick a long ball. On defense, his other position is nowhere under the high ball. At times, he's just looking out of it. And then you're playing your best fly up at fullback which is Bowden Barrett. Every time he touches the ball, he tries to run himself out of a tight spot. So the All Blacks will always win tight. They will always win the tight games if they dominate ball possession. So if they have 60% or more of the ball possession, they're going to win. Easy to figure out. If I deprive the All Black from ball possession, I run at them. I kick behind Jordy Barrett and Caleb Clark, with Bowden Barrett being a makeshift fullback. I'm always going to have a chance. And then all of a sudden you have these these makeshift loose forwards. Sam Cane, what a player in the All Black shirt. Is he a captain? That remains to be seen. Adi Sevilla, you move from a flanker to a number 8. Shannon Frizzell still finding his feet. All of a sudden you look wanting. And I want to agree with Eugene. It's perhaps not time to panic, but surely there's a selection problem. I'm not saying they have poor players. Barrick, they need to select specialists. You have Laumapi in the squad, playing at inside center. Try and select Bowden and in his place. If they feel that Bowden needs to sit on the bench, play a proper fullback. That is all the things I want to mention. And I do believe if they play specialists in specialist positions, you would see the All Blacks slowly but surely creeping back and they have all the talent. It's just there's no synergy at the moment.
And there's nothing wrong with having it always just seems like they're trying to jam their best players into a team. There's nothing wrong with having a bomb squad. We saw what the bomb squad did in the World Cup. Your second, your players on the bench coming up and actually just, taking you home in that last few minutes or last 20 minutes of the game. So there's nothing wrong with having, your second best fly-off, which is Richie Mo'unga, sitting on the bench and having you Bowden Barrett play your first receiver. You want a guy like that getting the ball every time, first time, because he makes magic happen. Let's just go through a few comments quickly, Heini. Graham Abrams saying, Pumas did what everyone should have started doing long ago. Study the All Blacks in all aspects of the game. No, great comment. No, for sure. And I think that's where, the Boks also, didn't do too much of that. Over the years, they would study one player and end up forgetting about the rest of the 14 other players on the field. But that's a fantastic point to make.
Valid point.
Timothy Ali says, was watching the breakdown on Monday. The point that they made was that the All Blacks didn't have the same variation they had during the matches they played against Australia. Very good point as well.
Good point. I missed the breakdown, but Timmy just touched on it. There's no surprise element when they do have the ball. It's very stereotyped. They play Aaron Smith plays Mo'unga. He would either put up these forwards on his inside or we play Goodhue. Goodhue, he's a proper rugby player. He looks lost at inside center. He's a guy who wants to move in space. Now, all of a sudden, you've got a very stereotyped. The opposition, they don't have to make one tackle. They would move the ball from Richie Mo'unga to Caleb Clark without keeping the inside backs of the opposition guessing. They would just move, the opposition just moves across. And then they block Caleb Clark, who wants to run with power. What a player. But he's getting very average ball from proper backs who's looking very average at this moment. So to me, the breakdown has it spot on there. I think they need to have more creative players in the inside lane.
And just to touch on before we go into the next clip, Heini, is net 'n pity ons kan nie die All Blacks speel die jaar nie. Ek bedoel, I said it before, we would have been able to exploit it like it's nobody's business, man. So it's a pity. Let's go into another clip, Heini.
Aan die Tekkel chat span, manne, dankie vir die geleentheid. Wel, as Liverpool 30 jaar kon wag om 'n league title te wen, hoekom moet die All Blacks nou paniek? Ian Foster is maar dag en 'n nag in die posisie. So duidelik weet die man nog nie wie sy beginspan is nie en wie sy beste spelers is nie. Hy is besig om homself te werk uit 'n routeit. Mag gee die ouwe kans. Ons is nog baie ver van die volgende wêreldbeker af. So ek sal liewerste nou die foute maak, nou die verloor en dan die volgende wêreldbeker wen. Kyk, as jou span die wêreldbeker wen, dan maak niks mos saak wat in die vorige jare gebeur het nie. So dankie vir die show, dankie vir 'n lekker chat.
Awesome comment, Kito.
Valid point. Hy's besig om uit te werk uit 'n routine. Ek kan nie fout vind by die comment nie. Ek kan nie.
Ja.
Het maak soveel sin, Alberg. Foster,
Dis nie wou.
hy pluk
Ja.
daar.
Ja.
You can do that if you have a settled team and a settled squad and you work beaters. But now he's selecting this team against Australia, then the next team they play Australia again. It's a total different team, and there's no momentum. So Katu, ja, het is moeilijk om oor te praat, but valid points by Katu. I think will we see the All Blacks back? I'm gonna chance my arm and say, by all means, we know rugby. There's no way that the All Blacks can go from being global leaders in the sport to being fifth, sixth.
Hy nie. Ons wil nie weer humble pie eet. You never know. Rugby is a funny game. Kyk, die ball is anders. So you never know. We've seen a lot of crazy things over the years.
We said the All Blacks will never lose against the Aussies. So let us just keep up comment.
But to your point, they're such a world-class team. They've got such world-class standards that they'll bounce back, soon enough. I definitely see that happening. So yeah, credit to him. The one concern I have from my side is yes, Foster has been in there for a couple of months only. But that transition, from Graham Henry to Steve Hansen to Foster has been, obviously smooth. There's been this pattern handover to the assistant coach, over the years. And the question I have is that spans what, 12 years, maybe plus 12 years. Yeah. Has there been any kind of newer thinking brought into the game? You look at Robertson from the Crusaders, the way he's been keeping that team on top of the log for many a year, and the style that he plays, it's refreshing. There's been calls to bring him in, even before they chose the coach. They wanted, a lot of fans called for him to be nominated. But yeah, has the thinking become a bit stale over the last 12 years? As again, the rest of the world caught up with the All Blacks in those 12 years? That remains to be seen.
No, I'm sure the word rugby, the other nations obviously caught up, but I don't believe that if we look at their Super Rugby competition, Alberic, we saw it Aotearoa competition. Look at the talent. Foster at this stage, my only critique is poor selections. He gets it wrong with his selection. He gets it badly wrong. I think he is obviously inheriting a side, but I believe that the All Blacks got the players. The coach needs to just step up to the plate, drop some players, select proper specialist players in specialist positions. You will see the results.
Yeah.
The question, obviously, the big question that we had, and I think we had this lady responding to our question is, kan die All Blacks die Springbokke klop as ons môre moet speel?
Ja, dis altyd die groot en ja, soos ek vroeër gesê het, ja, ek wens ons kan aangevat het. It would have been a great opportunity just to show again, the All Blacks point to that loss in the World Cup final. And yeah, it's a pity that we just don't have the opportunity to do it.
Our opinion doesn't count. Let's hear what Rihanna has to say.
Hi there, Tekkel Chat. Kyle here from the UK. Former All Black supporter. I've seen the light and supporting the Box once again in my lifetime. My 5 cents on the All Blacks' current form at the moment, I think they've lost their spark. I don't think the quality is missing, but mentally the team isn't there. I think that defeat to England really did a number on them mentally as a squad. Management as well, I don't think is up to scratch. They aren't able to bring the best out of the team. They don't have the right mix. As the squad, well, maybe on game day they struggle a bit. They just don't have it at the moment. The spark's lost. I'm not saying they'll never find it again, but I think they're gonna struggle. And like I said, management definitely is a big issue for them going forward.
Great comment there.
Good point.
Good point. Sorry, it wasn't a female, it was a male.
Sorry,
no,
yeah.
very good point. Very good point. I mean, Kyle saying there he's converted to the Springboks, and so yeah, welcome to the green side, dude. Welcome. We welcome you with open arms, and to all the other All Black supporters, you guys are tired of losing. It's been 2 weeks now. We're right here, guys. Come on, we're all waiting for you guys. We're here with open arms, guys.
There's more of Kyle. You're welcome to come and join us. Yeah, but very Kyle again touching on that the point, and I think that is we're going to close out with that point. The big question, obviously, do they have the right coaching staff? Do they have the right captain going forward? Yeah. We're not the guys that appointed them. We're not the experts. But I'm hoping that for World Rugby that the All Blacks they do come good again.
No, for sure. And let's just listen to Rihanna, the one clip we waited on.
Goeiemiddag aan al die All Black fans. Ek is nou jammer om te hoor van julle verloor hierdie afgelope naweek. Ek is nou nie hier om dit in te vryf nie, maar wat ek julle wel wil sê is, my naam is Rihanna Basson, groot rugby ondersteuner, maar nie van die All Blacks nie, vir Suid-Afrika, soos julle in die agtergrond kan sien. Ek wil julle net sê dat Suid-Afrika sal altyd die beste span wees en ons is tops. Dit is iets wat ek wil invryf, so lekker dag vir julle.
Ina.
Ek wil dit nie invryf nie, maar ek gaan dit effens invryf.
Ja, nee, we must put it in somewhere.
Rihanna, thanks so much, man, for sharing your thoughts on the Springboks. Yes, we're very proud to be Springbok. There's a lot of debate, Alberic, on social media now, saying if the Argentines can show up like this, beating the All Blacks, wat was die Bokke se verskoning? There's a lot of other things, obviously, that impacted the fact that Rassie and his team decided to stay.
Yeah, no, exactly. And again, like we mentioned in our previous, we spoke about the Boks playing in the rugby championship. It was more than just about our status as world champions, but it's player welfare. And again, I don't think we would have been able to have our best players on the field, and that was another one of the issues that was brought up as well. Wouldn't be able to have our best players on the field, in the rugby championship. But yeah, looking at this now, I mean, yes, ons kan 'n super rugby en lokspan mag gestuur het, maar na die rugby championships toe. Why not?
If you're looking for poetry in motion, we had somebody sending us a voice note, and we had some thoughts, but this guy, it just had me. Ricky Arendse sent us a voice note, music to my ears. We just had to listen to Ricky. This is thoughts.
Goeienaand en dankie vir die geleentheid om my bal by hierdie skrim in te gooi, maats. Dis mos maar 'n feit van die lewe dat niemand juis van daai ou hou wie altyd wen nie. Dis het opponente soos byvoorbeeld Engeland, die Ire en natuurlik die wêreldkampioene. Hulle probeer inhaal, selfs hier en daar na te boots, deur 'n dieper begeesterdheid te toon en met ysere wilskrag hul taak met meer ywer aan te durf, juis omdat daardie begeerte, daardie honger om die top om te klop, 'n massiewe aansporing moes wees vir die lande se spelers. In hierdie verband geld die Kaizen-beginsel, konstante en doelgerigte verbetering of ontwikkeling, deur meer in te sit op welke vlak ook al, het sy dieetkundig, psigies of fisies, as wat 'n All Black speler insit, wie ook, hoe al by nou, so gekondisioneerd is, om slegs op te daag en te wen. Van wat meer kan 'n All Black breier nou braak, om die spelers te besiel en lemskerp te hou na die soveelste triomftog. Met die formidabele here McCaw, Reed, Ben Smith en Keyford, kom algaar dit nou agter wat ek en elke rugby liefhebber, behalwe die stapel gek Suid-Afrikaners, wat soos Bushiri navolgers, blindelings hul geliefde profete volg, dat die All Blacks ook maar net mens is. Wat seker goed en wel is, maar dit is nou julle beurt om bietjie terug skoolbanke toe te gaan diep delf, weer daardie ratte vind, wat van julle die Hamilton van rugby gemaak het. Wêreld rugby het 'n gedigte All Black span nodig, Suid-Afrikaanse en Nieu-Seelandse rugby het dit nodig. Die publiek het dit nodig. Ek bedoel maar teen wie anders moet bokse kind dan nou in die kroeg arm druk. Mooi loop en geseënde aantjie vir almal hier, hoor.
That was just, it made my day. What a summary of the situation. He mentioned the guys that has left, that's retired, and obviously back to the drawing board for New Zealand. It's their time now, but also we as a global rugby supporter, we hope that they will come good sooner rather than later.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like you said, the world needs it. And how's it, Leonardo? Yeah, the world needs it. I think the brand is so strong of the All Blacks that we cannot. The world rugby, needs an All Blacks. It needs the Springbok team. It needs all teams around the world. And yeah, when the All Blacks are strong, world rugby is strong. And yeah, we just want to see them, go from strength to strength. As long as we are just above
number one.
As long as we're just above them, then it's then we're happy.
Closing out our show, guys, we had our last question was: het die All Blacks die regte kaptein? Is Sam Cane the right man for the job? Het hulle misgetas, het hulle raakgevat? We have our reservations. I think Sam Cane in an All Blacks jersey is just a revelation. He plays well. He gets over the gain line. I've been watching him, prior to his captaincy. I've been watching him now after being awarded the captaincy. This guy is just phenomenal. He's a phenomenal rugby player. Can he lead the All Blacks like a Kieran Reid, like a Richie McCaw? That remains debatable. I'm not sure. I don't believe. I don't believe.
Nah, for sure.
Sam Cane needs the responsibility of being a All Black captain. I think he's a good number 7, very abrasive player. Again, I predicted the Cheetahs to beat the Stormers. So what did ek van rugby?
Wat het also rugby? Ons weet niks hier. Ons we just commenting on the previous week's game. Yeah, nee, kyk. Sam Cane, we know what kind of play he is. I mean, the old broke his neck. South Africa against the Boks a couple of years ago, and he's playing again. He became the captain of the All Blacks. So, yeah, it's a difficult scenario for a new captain to be in. Richie McCaw dealt with it very nicely in 2009 when they lost against the Boks twice in a row. But again, then he had the players to back him up and to kind of just bring out the best out of the rest of the team. But yeah, that was that watershed moment that we spoke about. So yeah, let's hope again he can stand up and bring his captaincy to the fore just to help the rest of the team.
For honest opinion, we went to previous and former retreat coach and also passionate supporter. We saw him earlier. We asked him, "Is Sam Cane man for the job?" This is what Eugene had to say.
Whether Sam Cane is the right guy for the captain's armband, I am not too sure, because personally, he does not even make my run-on team. There are so many other exciting guys, younger guys that will take the All Blacks to new heights again. And whether Ian Foster is the right guy to coach the All Blacks, I'm also not sure. I am hoping that he is just keeping the seat warm for the next 2 years until Warren Gatland is done with the Lions, because I would like to see him in charge as a coach of the All Black squad.
Warren Gatland, big call, eh? Big call.
Yeah, I think after 2021, after the British and Irish Lions tour to South Africa, Warren Gatland will not be in demand at all. We're going to thrash them in. Rassie, Ninaber.
Yeah,
we're going to be ready. Die man is uitgerus, hulle is lus vir rugby. So yeah, but Eugene mentioned Gatland, great coach. We can't take it away from Gatland. He's got the pedigree, he's got the CV. I'm surprised that he mentioned Gatland and not Robertson or you've got Plumtree there. So he wants Gatland to move in. Technically, he said Sam Cane and Foster not the guys for the job. It's a big call I know this guy personally. He's a proper New Zealand supporter. He knows his rugby.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's his opinion.
And he mentioned, keeping the seat warm for 2 years. 2 years is a long time. 2 years is a very long time. You can baie eiers lê en hy 2 jaar.
Ja, jy kan gaan van tweede na 10de. Die bokke was amper daar, né?
Exactly. So 2 years is a very long time. And Gatlin, again, like Robertson would have been my pick. Gatlin had a stint at the beginning of the year with Super Rugby. And he obviously, I think he lost the first 7 or 8 games he went through with the Chiefs without a win. Whether the Chiefs had a good team, that's debatable. But the best coaches make the best of what they have, and he didn't impress me. Coming back from the north into the southern hemisphere with his performance in those first 7 or 8 games. But I think Robertson is on everybody's lips. I think he should have had been given a shot at the All Black post. But I think like you said, Gatlin it's gonna be tough to see Gatlin being coached next year if they do get a 2-1 or a 3-0 drubbing by the Boks. And I'm putting that out there, guys.
And with our track record, that is very, very dangerous predictions. But guys, we believe the Springboks, Nina Haber and the guys, they've got what it takes. We're waiting on the British and Irish Lions. We're all excited. For you guys that did not get tickets, another round to get tickets. It's open. Please visit that website. They've opened up the tickets for another round of applications, specifically for the games against the Unions. We unfortunately need to share with you that all the test matches has been sold out. That's good news, and we're looking forward to welcoming the British and Irish Lions to our shores. For Noe Alberic, another great show. Thanks so much to each and everyone that featured. Keith, Breinkies, Kitto, Plaatjies, Kyle Lauwerseer, Rihanna Basson, thanks so much. Each and everyone that obviously submitted their videos. We also see the comments. Ek sê daar's Avery het nou wakker geskrik. Hy het gesê lekker boys, welcome Avery. And then each and everyone across, just joining us each and every Thursday evening. Just nice to chat to you. We're looking forward to the Curry Cup, Alberic, and then we'll obviously have another chat on Tekkel Live. Christo Plaatjies.
Dankie Christo.
At this stage,
nobody after this weekend, nobody can say anything. So Christo was nog maar stadig.
As daar enige iemand is daar buitekant wat gesê het, hy het bewyse op te bewys. Hy het gesê Argentinië wen New Zealand in die Rugby Championships na 7 maande van rus. Bring julle bewyse en ons feature vir julle live op hierdie show. Now, it's been another 50 minutes of good chat, good banter. We can't get to everybody on social media. Is altyd lekker om met jou te praat. Groete daar in Kaapstad.
Jou kant ook, Annie. En sien mekaar binnekort.
Until next time then, guys. Please stay tuned at Tekkel Chat, YouTube, Facebook and Twitter. Stay tuned. Series 2 of Tekkel Talk Show will be back, where we'll be interviewing movers and shakers in your community. Until next time, ek en my vriend Alberic. Cheers.